Hello, thank you for joining. My name is Xanthia, and this is ID.ID, a podcast where I speak with the people who reside, designed, or photograph the spaces shared on my interior design mood board Instagram account, White Sage. Our guest this episode is Nari Lee of Motif1. Motif1 is a guest house which, if you follow me on Instagram, White Sage, you've definitely seen photos of, packed with books and big windows that look out onto trees. Nari is an actor and the host of Motif1. Meeting Nari in person and learning more about Motif1 kind of helped with the entire concept behind this podcast, where you just see photos of a space online and then being able to physically inhabit them and learn more about the spaces gives you a 3D understanding. I'm so excited to have Nari on. It was great to get to speak with her again, and I'm very looking forward to sharing more about Motif1 with anyone listening. Hi Nari, how are you?
Hello, how are you? I'm good.
That's good. I'm good. Thank you so much for meeting.
No, thank you so much for inviting me.
I'm really excited to get to share with everybody more about Motif1. Let's get started with it. So I'll just ask, who are you and where are you located?
My name is Nari. I live in Korea. I am host and curator of artist residence guest house called Motif1. I do have other identity, which is actress. Since I was very young, I started acting. So still, I am working on theater, movie, or dramas and various medias too. A guest house that I am hosting is located in Paju in South Korea, which is northernmost point in South Korea. The thing is that the border between the North Korea and South Korea is just passed right above our village. So it's very historical, important location too. In Paju, there is a village called Heyri, which is artist village. I live in that beautiful creative art village and running this small but full of motivation place called Motif1. Here I get to meet and communicate with people from all around the world, like artists or creators like you. So, and from that, I get to energy to working as a actress too.
So what is Motif1? How did it kind of come about as a space?
Mm. As to introduce Motif1, I
Yeah.
have to my father because Motif1 was built by my father in 2005. He was a journalist and he was also worked for the publishing company before he started Motif1. When he was at the work, someday he think that he had to try to something new in his life. So he quit his job and prepare for his second chapter of his life. So after he quit his job, he went travel all over US and Canada. So one of the town that he visited called Stafford in Ontario, which is a small town that has a theater festival more than like half of the year. My dad stayed there very long time, and then he also stayed in theater director's house. While he was staying there, he got to meet like bunch of artists and experience where art was happening in all over the town. So he think that he wanted to create a space, something like that. So he dreamed about place where he could live and share art with people. So he came back to Korea within his dream. He started Motif1 artist residency in this art village. My dad, who loved traveling, but after he have this Motif1, he used to say that meeting people from all over the world in Motif1 is also one of way of traveling. he started this place 2005. So my father ran this place like for a very long time, like over 16 years. But few years ago, when my mom retired from her job, they started to traveling all over the world together again. They started another new chapter of their life, which is third part of their chapter. That's when I took over Motif1 and started to hosting and curating. You know, my parents have been traveling for more than 2 years and they haven't came back to Korea.
Oh, really?
Ah, they're in currently in Guatemala right now.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, it's very amazing to see them how their lives like that. I can
Yeah.
see people who are living like that in, documentary or books. But the thing is that my parents are doing it. It's kind of different. Yeah, and they really like that.
Yeah.
We always chatting on the phone and having this kind of like FaceTime. But
Nice.
it's amazing to see them. They're not just traveling, they're meeting people and just try to live there day by day.
And get to know it and kind of learn
Yeah.
about it. And
Mm.
that's so nice.
Yeah. My father is gone, but after he started Motif1, he wrote a book. And there is my favorite sentence that is, if traveling is a change of mindset rather than the movement of physical distance, then I've probably been the longest traveler of the last decade.
That's so
They're good.
nice.
I think that's what I do right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been traveling from meeting people from all over the world and conversation, something right now, it's happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
It,
And I love to Motif really encourages that. Its layout and everything. It's quite communal and
yeah,
like you go
yeah,
out and you make a coffee and other people are there and you kind of yeah, you're like your bedroom's yours, but you're welcome to kind of go out and pull a book off the shelf and read it. And if you pass by somebody, then you can kind of strike up conversation with them and learn about them. And like if you're there as well, and like, yeah, getting to chat and everything, I really like that that's a
yeah.
thing. And also your father's way of being. And it's such a kind of tangible version of that, him coming up with Motif1.
Mm.
So it's really nice. And I like that you approach it in the same sort of way where yeah, you're traveling by like not traveling and just getting to meet people from everywhere.
Yeah, because my dad, he running this place for a very long time. So that's what I've been just watching him, how he create these places for a very long time. So it's in me because I know that he was doing it, so I'm doing it right now. And then I love the things that what he created was it is very motive to me too.
You do really well with having the guests and greeting and hosting as well. It's very natural to you.
Thank you. I think it's a good for me too, because I'm also an actress. So
Yeah.
it's for me to good to having a conversation and then meeting people. It's also helped me as well as actors too.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of fresh characteristics and things to pick up from
Mm.
each person that you come across. It's a really cool way of thinking about it.
You.
Can you talk more on the village that Motif is built in?
Yeah, yeah, the village. The village is very interesting. So Haiti, this artist village called Haiti. Haiti village is organized by like more than 300 artists, like director, author, and architect. The I think the village is one big culture like community because
Mm,
neighbors are very close, and then together with always talked about how the art can enrich in this village. And every year we do have like festivals too. Yeah, art festival. So we're doing have street performance, like exhibition by artists who are living here and all the fun programs going on. And my father was one of the earliest members in Haiti because he was already knew Art Village will be organized before he quit his job. So after he came back from his travel, he know that he have to part of this, this program, Haiti program. He really loved this village. So he was like village head for a very long time. I knew that he really loved it, so that's why I love it too. But these days, very young artists and then very interesting peoples are coming into Haiti. So I'm very looking forward a few years later of atmospheres of Haiti too.
Mm.
Mm. And because you came here, probably you would know this town has many gallery and cafes and museum, like music space, and also have Independence movie theater. I always love to just walking around neighborhood, because this village is built in harmony with the nature,
Yeah.
like architecture and the landscape. And in Korea, we do have 4 seasons. So I love I can fully experience these like 4 seasons in Haiti.
Yeah, that's so nice. It is really beautiful being in nature. And the buildings are amazing. There's really kind of like brutalist buildings. I remember there was like a big concrete one that had like a tree sticking out the side of it, but there was like a wall that's cut out to let the tree go through. It's so cool.
Oh yeah, it is. So
Yeah.
so many architecture students, they're coming this village and try to, studies of our architecture too.
Cool.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a cool village.
Mm.
It's very responsive to like its inhabitants kind of thing. Like having the artists there and knowing that and seeing how the village is
Mm.
informed by them. It's very special.
Thank you. I like living here.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting. So can you talk more then on the architecture of Motif 1?
As you noticed, our house has a lots of window, and we do have little, like, I don't want to say garden, but we do have garden, like many big trees in front of the window. This is because we wanted to communicate with the nature.
Mm,
Like we wanted to create a moment where the barriers between the outside and indoor is disappeared.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
you really feel like you're kind of sitting in the treetops when you're there.
And we wanted the, scare window frame became a picture frame or a
Mm,
painting where you can, watch the landscape just changing throughout the season. In 2005, when my dad started to create Motif1, this kind of building was not really familiar in Korea at the time because we wanted to build artist residency where people can stay and share. So we had many rooms. So this kind of building was not familiar. So my dad needed architect who can fully discuss with him and create a young kind of building. That's how he met architect Min Seok Cho, founder of Mass Studies, which he's very old, famous architect right now. At the time, 2003, he wanted an architect who was really young, experimental, and who is willing to challenge. So my father met him when he was just arrived in Korea after solid career abroad. So together they worked more than 1 year to, just drawing the building.
wow.
Ah, so, thanks to him and my father, their imagination and their creativity became the most unique buildings, I think, we are having today. I like the atmosphere became very fully over the time, but basic of that drawings of building has on their unique identity too.
Yeah. It's very purpose built. Like
Mm,
everything has its reason. There's nothing kind of excessive in the design. Like it's just
true.
simple and like effective, but it's so beautiful and clear.
Hmm. Can be just like concrete. No, because buildings made by concrete, but the our texture and the plants is all cover these buildings right now. That's what they tended to be. So yeah, I think this building has something unique who can not changing over time.
Yeah, it's nice to have it super in harmony then with nature, letting nature take over and then having it built so the windows are the focus, like into the trees and everything. But it's still quite a like square shaped building. I love that. That's my like favorite kind of type of design where it is that kind of like blocky almost design, but then marrying that with nature's really beautiful and softens it. And yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful space.
Thank you. Just love to you know, just do nothing and just watching
Just
the
look out.
yeah.
In Motif1 as well, there's the guest book.
Yay.
I've told you this, but I was so sad that we missed writing in it when we came to visit, but we'll do it next time.
Yeah, yeah,
But it's
sure.
so nice. It was a nice thing to read everyone's time in the space, but also people do drawings and do. There's someone who had left like a Polaroid photo in there as well. I think that there may be a painting. I could be imagining it, but yeah, it's really beautiful. It's a really good thing to have.
Every page is artistic, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It's not just a sentence and then people are done. It's very detailed.
Yeah, it is. It is amazing how detailed is the story. It
Yeah.
is. Like the guest book was there since just beginning of the space because Motif1 is all about the connecting with each other. So now it's like most treasure of our house.
That's so nice.
I think like you said, the guest book is one of the biggest experience of the people who are came here because it's not just only one person's story.
Mm.
It's like more than tons of thousands of people's story. And every page is very different and also unique itself. So yeah, it is. The people come here and then wrote down the feelings that they can talk like anyone else
Oh,
about.
that's so sweet.
Uh, and then they wrote down their like current feeling and uncertain futures and their worries and habits, like everything is on there. So in that kind of view, everyone read their secret or also very common thing, and then they're like encouraging each other.
Mm. Yeah, it's
And
comforting.
mm, and I love that they're all supporting each other.
Yeah.
And yeah, even though they haven't met each other, but they leave note to next person who came to this room. Yeah, and then they say,
Oh,
yeah, I wish like all the best for you who are came here. And they're like answering, thank you so much. Yeah,
that's so sweet.
yeah, it is. I think it's amazing. And they're reading and they're encouraging each other. I think this is amazing. And then people who came back to Motif1, they wanted to find out and read what they were written. They find out, they said, the person I was when I wrote it give me the courage to be the person I am today.
That's so nice.
Yeah, it's
It's really
so.
special for them to have that kind of safe space that you
Mhm.
guys have created, but then to kind of, yeah, remember and come back and share it again. It's lovely that it's such a vulnerable space, comfortable space, safe space that people feel that they can share that. It's really, really lovely.
It is. And it's been 2005. This year is 20 years because
Wow.
it started in 2005. So it's 2025. It's been 20 years. So like even though like who came 10 or 13 years before who are visiting here still visiting here. So it's kind of yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
something.
pretty amazing.
Yeah. So it's like the guest book. What guest book has is, when people said the most personal story is became most public, stories too. So I
True.
think, yeah, I think that's what guest book does.
Yeah. And what do you do when they get full? Do you change it each year or do you wait until it gets filled up or
Oh, I just leave them. In the bookshelf, we do have a part of all the guest books are gathering.
cool?
Oh yeah, we have like more than, I don't know, hundreds of guest books. It,
Oh,
yeah. We do have like 5 books in each room and also in library. And it's from since 2005, so we do have,
wow. All of
yeah.
them there.
Huh.
True. I guess that is kind of what you were saying. I just didn't understand that there would be so many kind of still on file for 20
Oh,
years. That's amazing.
hmm. Yeah, so that's our treasure.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see why. What are some of your favorite pieces in Motif One?
I already talked about guest book.
Yeah.
Say- I can say furniture, the bookshelf and the desk. They're all made by my father himself.
Amazing.
Yeah. 20 years ago when he building this build, he had to brought his tent in the library. He put a tent and then he was staying there and then he made it himself. All the table and the desk.
How long did it take you?
Oh, I think it's more than a month.
Wow.
He, yeah, his friend was very good woodworker. So with him, he was doing it. So that means the desk is like over 20 years old. And before that, the wood had to dry 5 years. And then I assume that this kind of big wood tree has to be more than 150 years. So I love the fact that along with that time, like immeasurable time, it's part of, fabric of Motif1.
Yeah, adding to it, like adding layers and layers, compounding of
True.
histories, really.
Yeah, exactly. And then my sister and brother was also growing up here because it's been like so. I love that my family's all histories on inside here.
Mm.
Mm. All the pieces are from my families, or they all have a stories too.
I love that that's then shared with people, like
Mhm.
shared with essentially strangers, I guess. Like when they book in, it's
Yeah.
very open for you guys to have that. And then you're welcoming these people in and then they kind of leave not as strangers because they've essentially
Mhm.
come into your home and been with these pieces that your family has also been with and loved.
Yeah, like that. I think it's because of way of living. That's what
Yeah.
my parents was always trying, just welcoming people, and they just love to communicate people. They do have like warm heart.
Mm,
I think that's why we can welcoming with the warm heart.
yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, and then again, that leads to people feeling comfortable to writing in the guest book and everything. Like it all ties in. It leads to people feeling comfortable kind of coming out for their morning coffee because
Oh
like
yeah.
I'm not great in the morning. I'm not a morning person, but like you feel okay to be able to go out there because it's your own space. Like it felt when I was there like my own space, but it's not. It's shared with a lot of people, but that's really comforting as well.
That's important to,
Yeah.
their your own house. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Good too.
When I was there as well, and this leads into your new kitten that I've seen. When I was there, there was the local strays. And
Yeah.
then when we were speaking with you, learned that you and your sister, you've adopted a dog and you do work as well, fostering dogs since you
Yes.
adopted your own.
Like I always feed cats who comes to Motif1. Um, like my puppy, her name is Pom, which means spring in Korean.
Sweet.
Uh, yeah. Um, she is me and my sister's first fostered dog. So we had to eventually adopted her. So we didn't know how to say goodbye to her.
Yeah.
Since then, personally, me and my sister fostered puppies and helped them to get adopted through, that kind of process. My family was always friendly with the animals because my grannies and grandpa was living in very old town, just like in nature. So we
Mm.
are very friendly with the nature. We do always had a puppies before when we was young, but after my sister worked for the international organization through her 20s and lived in France and also Africa, and my younger brother was also living in and studying abroad. I never thought that we could have another animal, but she moved back to Korea just before the pandemic. So I started to living with my sister in Seoul. So maybe I thought that maybe we can try. Maybe we couldn't adopted one, but we can, fostering to help them to being adopted. So that's how we started. Since then, I couldn't turn away when I saw the abandoned dog or cats, any other animals that were just there.
In need. Yeah.
So I also personally rescued dog and cats too, like her,
Yeah.
Heyri. So far, it's been like 5 years since we adopted Bobby. And then since then, we fostered like 9 dogs and 2 cats.
Oh, wow.
I know. It's so great to see them find a good home
Yeah.
and to get on with their life.
Yeah. Do you keep in touch with any of the people who then
Yeah.
adopt them? That's
Yeah.
so nice.
Some of them are in Korea and some of them are Canada and also US. But
Wow.
nowadays we do have like Instagram. So I can still, see how they're going on. That makes me happy.
Yeah, it's a good thing about the internet,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
being able to check in on them. So sweet.
Like with human, I sometimes think that there's some little gaps in the conversation.
Mm.
But with the animal, however, we're not having a conversation on like verbal, but I do feel that sometimes I do having communicate without dialogue.
Yeah,
It makes me something full of energy and love. I
yeah,
think I'm doing it because I want to live with all beings in the world with the respect and interaction. Yay,
yeah. Especially when they're so cute.
it is. And she's the kitten, which is 4 months old.
Oh.
I found her in Haiti. She was falling on street because of the low temperature, because it
Mm.
was just beginning of winter. So I had to take her to the hospital and make responsibility of saving.
Yeah.
I named her 가을이, 가을, which means autumn. Yeah, she has because she has three color.
That's, oh my gosh, that's so cute. Is there a story connected to any of the pieces in Motif 1?
Oh, sure. Like every piece in motif is one is connected with, our us family. For example, like the biggest photos hanging in the gallery was taken by my dad 16 years ago
Wow.
on trip of Africa, and all the painting and all the pictures are by guests who came, or my friend, or my sister, or our friend. And the painting in the room that you stayed was painted by a guest who came to Motif1. And then he draws and he gave to us for a present.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's why we hanging in that room. Elfies are playing in the gallery was collecting by my dad and me when I was from very young, looking forward to market. And all the small pieces are from my sisters and my brother. They were living in abroad. Oh, and do you remember the poster that I showed you?
Yeah, the one of you or of your brother?
Oh yeah. My poster is on the hanging in the wall, and my brother poster is hanging on the wall too.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah,
nice.
I know. I am actress too, because so my movie poster that I shoot 1997 is hanging in the library, and my brother is also he's making a movie too. So my brother's poster is, you know, in the wall too. So if you anyone who pointed and what is it? And I can
It has a story. Yeah, it has
sorry.
a purpose. It's really nice as well. It's really graphic, that one. Like it's very abstract and arty from memory. It's really pretty.
Recently, I saw the pictures of 2005 when the build was just built, and I found some photos and drawings, and also plants were already there.
Oh,
Yeah, that makes me feel like, oh, this is something. And over 20 year, we do have many layers of story, but before then, we already had stories too.
yeah.
So I thought that, oh, this place is just full of stories.
Yeah, and there's kind of the space and allowance for all of the stories to be told. I think with the architecture being so simple and looking out to the trees and then the pieces that are in the space, there's lots of books and the furniture's very beautiful. It's everything kind of works in harmony and yeah, having so many kind of like stories and voices, it doesn't seem noisy though because it's such a serene space
Hmm.
because of yeah architecture and the trees and everything. It's a good balance of everything.
Yes. That's I think that's why I wanted to, our main library is library. It's full of, many books,
So many books.
so many books, but it's also I can see them. It's like just like gallery.
Yeah,
All pieces and all the things are very unique and artistic. So yeah, I can say it's library, but also gallery.
yeah. Yeah, it definitely feels like that too, but
Mhm.
it still feels welcoming to
Oh
take
yeah.
the books off. It's not a scary gallery, but everything is so beautiful and yeah, it's just such an open space to play in and touch and make your own.
I love them all, but I'm not afraid of them to destroyed or taken away.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, they're not kind of precious, but they're all very
Mm,
special at the same time.
yeah. So
Yeah.
and touch, ask, or, you know, took it.
What are some of your recently viewed tabs?
Uh, like I tend to read it rather than, doing an internet, but I thought over and recently some topics on me. So one is author Han Gang, who won the Nobel Prize of Literature, because I love her. And it's very meaningful because she's the first Korean woman who wins the Nobel Prize in Literature. But her novels are so sad and beautiful at the same time. I have read almost all of her novel, so I like them very much. And she also wrote novel throughout Korean historical events, which is very comforting in times of war and inequality. So my recent open tab category is Nobel Prize Literature Lecture of Hangang.
Oh, cool.
네. And next, it's winter here, but spring will come soon. So I also look up the plants in the garden. I love plants, indoor plants, but what I want to do this year is make this garden, I don't know, organized. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm trying to look up the trees and oh, and I listen lots of movies and book podcast. Yep, your IG, Instagrams, like architecture things too. Because I have to cleaning the house. So while cleaning or like driving, best thing that I do is always listening the podcast.
Yeah, I've started to do that too, where it's if I need to clean, I'll save my favorite podcast to listen to while I clean. So it's kind of like I trick myself into doing it.
It's very helpful.
Yeah, it is. It makes it enjoyable.
Yeah, yeah, it is. So yeah, that's what I do these days. And also, of course, architecture and furniture designs too.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested in timeless architect and furnitures too. I think that's one of the reasons that I like secondhand furnitures too, because we do
Yeah.
it too. The things that not past fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to study more about architecture and furnitures too. Mhm.
Yeah. Amazing. And what's something that you're excited for over the coming months?
What was I going on? Ah, I think I told you, but I'm making these various programs in Motif1.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're having like doing yogas together and talked about traveling and other cultures together and listening music together. So I am, yeah, it's been a few months that I'm doing it and it's very fun for me. So I wanted to organize more about this, program. Not just a program. I no, program is too big word for it. Just that I'm trying to making more time of having a conversation each other through
Yeah.
topics.
One of my first guests that I had on this podcast, Babette, she has a space and she's began to kind of launch events within the space to invite people in. And I think I kind of hadn't realized the power of something like that, where you're bringing people into a space, but it's kind of not only to talk to each other, you're there to do yoga. Or in Babette's case, it's a movie night that she does. And I think it's just so nice because you're bringing people in with that intention. They'll just kind of talk as well. And then maybe after the class, they'll continue to talk. It's not as kind of like,
True.
hi, how are you? It's
Oh
people will
yeah.
speak about the class or what
Yes.
their experience was. So there's so much power in creating a like program for people to
Mhm.
come and interact with.
Yes, yes. And it is. I always meeting people like throughout the guest, but this program that I organizing makes more deeper conversation.
Yeah.
It helping with trying to getting know each other better.
Yeah.
It's very fun.
Um,
Personally, I'm hosting, read books together on online right now. Yeah,
nice.
I'm doing it right now. And oh, in March, my movie will release, so I'm very looking forward.
Wow.
Yeah.
What what's the movie called? Can you say?
Oh, 초혼, it's Korean movie, so it's Korean.
Yeah.
Stories about 80s students and workers in Korea. It's a bit traditional, historical stories too. And this year, Motif1 is 20 years old now. So I don't know what will come to me, but I am very looking forward this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just my goal is to be brave enough to try new things that comes to my way.
That's a good way to be.
Yeah, that's what I do always.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about that we didn't touch on?
Mm, no, I don't think so. Yeah. It was fun to having this kind of conversation with you
Yeah,
because
thank you.
you get a chance to talk in, of course, in Korean, but in English. And I've been meeting like lots of creator through the abroad, but so this kind of, doing this kind of podcast is also new things for me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Inali, for having the time with me and sharing more about Motif and more about yourself as well and your acting and fostering work. And yeah, it was just really, really lovely to get to learn more about you and the space.
No, thank you so much for inviting me. It was so fun to sharing with you like my stories and also Motif1 stories and yeah.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of ID.ID. Feel free to share this with someone who you think would enjoy it or spread the word on socials. Join us next time for ID.ID, and in the meantime, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm White Sage with 2 underscores between the words white and sage. Bye!